Welcome to the mystery. Maybe you do not know. I am Maria. Wish you a good day. After a sharp bar pierced the head of the worker in the United States, he retired to his own home and lived another 12 years. Phineas Gage was a railroad worker in Vermont, USA. His daily task is to clear the stones to place the rails. If the stone is so large that it cannot be removed by hand, Gage must drill the hole and use a pointed iron rod stuffed with explosives into the hole to break the rock, the BBC said. But on September 13, 1848, the incident occurred after Gage stuffed explosives into a hole near the town of Cavendish, Vermont. Gage's iron bar accidentally falls to the surface of the stone, creating a sparks that explode. The blast caused the iron rod, about 1 meter long, 3 centimeters in diameter and 6 kilograms in weight, to reach the 25-year-old man's head. It crosses from the bottom of the left eye to the top of the head and falls at a distance of 30 meters. According to the Huffington Post, John Harlow, a physician present at the scene, recounted that the iron rod was about 1 meter long, 3 centimeters in diameter, 6 kilograms in weight, full of blood and brain. It crashes into the skull, through the left ventral lobes, disrupting a significant portion of the brain and pushing the eyeball out of the Gage's sockets. To the amazement of the whole witness, the post-rater taskman remained alert and quickly got up. He even announced 2 days to return to the next break. Returning to the hotel room, Gage lay in bed for Harlow to handle the wound. The doctor shaved scalp, hemmed the patient. He took small broken pieces of bone, placed large pieces of bone that were deviated from the iron rod and wrapped the wound on the Gage's head with a sticky strap. Until 11 o'clock at night, the boy stopped bleeding and went to sleep. The next morning, Harlow allows the family to visit the Gage. Patients recognize their mother and father. It is a good sign. However, a few days later, Gage falls into a state of coma with cerebral fungal infections. Worried about the worst, the family prepared the coffin. Harlow immediately surgery for Gage to extract pus from the wound through the nose. For a few weeks, the patient's condition was more stable despite complete loss of vision on the left. In January 1949, the man recovered completely. Talking about the process of caring for Gage, Harlow humble, God healed him. However, the personality of the Gage changed. Dr. Harlow described the 25-year-old's mental expression. Employers who consider Gage to be the most efficient foreman find the change in his mind, refusing to hire him again. Patients become erratic, insolent, vulgar, impatient, hesitant, outlines a series of plans and then immediately give up if the other is more feasible. The balance between his mind and his animal instincts seems to have been destroyed. My mind has changed so much that my friends and acquaintances have commented that Gage is no longer a Gage. Several reports confirmed that the foreman permanently lost control. Behave inappropriately in many social situations, violent and uncontrolled to the point of child harassment. In disagreement, psychologist Malcolm Macmillan from Deakin University, Australia, believes that Gage's behavioral change actually lasts only a short time. This case is worth remembering because it illustrates how a little story can be embroidered into a scientific mystery, he wrote in An Odd Kind of Fame. This argument was strongly criticized. Before Macmillan, Dr. Henry Bigelow from Harvard University also said that Gage has recovered both physically and mentally. He concluded the patient's brain completely normal because he was still walking, talking, looking and hearing. Later, people discovered the Bigelow tests conducted on the Gage focus only on sensation and movement should not be persuasive enough. In general, experts find it difficult to ascertain whether Gage's personality has changed, as few people understand him so well that he can be sure of the man's personality before the day of the crash. On the other hand, the story is likely to be complicated by the limited knowledge of brain injury at the time. For the scientific community at the time, Gage's crash was the first evidence that brain damage could affect human behavior and personality. But to this day, neurologists have not adequately explained why the Gage did not die as soon as the iron bar penetrated his skull. Gage's health suddenly collapsed in 1859. He moved to San Francisco to live with his mother, brother-in-law and sister. He later suffered epilepsy and died in 1860. 7 years later, his body was dug up at the request of Dr. Harlow. Today, both his skull and his sharp iron bar are on display at Harvard Medical School in the United States. His name appears in many colleges' textbooks and scientific journals. Thank you for watching the video. Please like and subscribe to follow other videos. Goodbye and see you again.